Augustus loved to collect unusual and exotic animals, including a giraffe which was exhibited in Rome.
Experience is the teacher of all things. I would rather exceed the limit than to fall short. Men willingly believe what they wish. I have lived by a certain system of principles, and I am resolved not to depart from it. The greater the difficulty, the more glory in surmounting it. A man's first care should be to avoid the reproaches of his own heart, his next to escape the censures of the world. The power of fortune is confessed only by the miserable, for the happy impute all their success to prudence or merit. It is better to create than to learn. Creating is the essence of life. If you wish to be loved, love.
Augustus was a patron of the arts and helped to promote the development of Roman literature and culture.
I'm not afraid of an army of lions led by a sheep. I'm afraid of an army of sheep led by a lion. I came, I saw, I conquered. My plans are like the rays of the sun. They shine over all. The mind that is anxious about future events is miserable. The blame is his who chooses. God is blameless. Men are nearly always willing to believe what they wish. We must either find a way or make one. Rome has grown since its humble beginnings that it is now overwhelmed by its own greatness. It is more honorable to repair a wrong than to persist in it.
Augustus was a skilled military strategist, and his victories in battle helped to expand the Roman Empire and secure its borders.
When a man has once broken the law, he is ever after more ready to break it. God alone can make a tree. The fault of a bad government is better than the anarchy of a good one. I have lived long enough to satisfy both nature and glory. I love glory, the only rock upon which a noble character can be built. The heart is great, which shows moderation in the midst of prosperity. Difficulties increase the nearer we get to the goal. Cowards die many times before their deaths. The valiant never taste of death, but once. The greater the difficulty, the more the glory in surmounting it.
Augustus was once gifted a very large and very old fish, which had been caught in the Nile. He had it pickled and sent to Rome, where it was displayed as a curiosity.
It is not these well-fed, long-haired men that I fear, but the pale and the hungry-looking. The wish of one man is the slave of the other. Riches do not consist in the possession of treasures, but in the use made of them. I am not so much disposed to lament the misfortunes which have happened to me, as to rejoice at those which have happened to others. If you must break the law, do it to seize power. In all other cases, observe it. The greatest good is the dissemination of knowledge. A wise man ought never to resist a present evil, but to flee from it. The superior man makes the difficulty to be overcome his first interest. Success only comes later.
Augustus was the first emperor of Rome, and his reign marked the beginning of the Pax Romana, a period of relative peace and stability throughout the empire.
Let the punishment fit the crime. The best way to keep one's word is not to give it. The die is cast. I would rather be first in a village than second in Rome. A wise man ought to remember that health is his most valuable possession. The only safety for the conquered is to hope. All things are subject to interpretation. Whichever interpretation prevails at a given time is a function of power and not truth. A brave man ought never to despair. The person who says something is impossible should not interrupt the person who is doing it.
Augustus was a strong advocate of civic virtue and moral behavior and encouraged his subjects to follow the same principles.
A man's best fortune, or his worst, is his wife.
I act as I deem best at each moment.